All right, hey guys, how's everyone doing? Welcome to the Watchlist Meeting. Hope everyone was able to find the link. I dropped it on the Discord and the Telegram chat. We had a very crucial week, and that was the quad witching week. And one of the hardest things was to trade any swing trades. We talked about that. My goal was to enter day trades and basically be done by the end of the day. I believe we took about um, four trades this week. I'm talking about non-SPX trade. That's the least amount of trades I've taken in probably this year because I know how this works in terms of the whipsaw action, the pinning action. So you have to be very careful when you were trading this action. I'd say I could have done, or we could have done a little bit better on Friday. But once I saw that I missed a move, I tried trading, counter trading on SPX a couple of times, didn't work out, and basically exited. For people that are new joining this, I'm basically talking about the summary I provide on the Discord. And I'm completely transparent with my performance. So what I'll be doing end of this meeting today, I'm going to be posting my Excel sheet for how we did for the week, and we'll go from there. All right, let's get started. Okay, so this is my trend line for SPX. I'm gonna zoom in to make sure. So again, now looking at this trend line in hindsight, it makes a lot of sense. But when you're actually trading this, hold on, let me just make sure I have the comment section open. But when you're trading like real time, it's not that clear. But what we've seen here is initially this trend line got declined and rejected, and price went lower. Then we tried again, and this was the third time we tried. We closed under the 50-day moving average, which was 44.82, and that's a moving average, so these numbers will change. But like 44.80, 44.75 is the level that you want to watch. That's where you're going to see a lot of congestion, meaning regardless if you're a bull or a bear, that's the level that you want to watch out for and sort of stay away from, and want it to clear before you go long or short. In my opinion, if we open flat and not get so if we don't gap up, there's a very likelihood chance that we see 44.33 before we go higher. This is going to be the third test for SPX. We've tested it once, let's see, August 29th, then September 7th. It makes sense if we open here. Now, let's say we gap down, we open here. I expect a bounce. If we, let's say, so if we gap down, I think 44.33 is good. I'm not looking to go short, but let's say we gap up. I would short around the 44.82 level unless it clears. So in the middle of the range, I'm going to stay out on trading SPX. So it's a very clear channel. When you have that much clarity, then you can take heavier size trades. So I like this chart a lot. I could draw this potentially another trend line if I wanted to here. So now quad witching is over. So basically, we should get a clear move up or down. But I think what a lot of people want to know and have asked, and that's the one I want to talk about today, is swing trading, right? Now, are you good to take long puts or long calls? In our case, I came live, I think last Wednesday, and we talked about going short once there's a panic in the market or you see selling. So if I pull you guys the 5-minute chart, like, so this is how we opened. We gapped down to 44.95, and then there was a clear sell. Like, there's literally no sign of buyers, right? This is how it starts. The first drop takes out everyone. If you guys know, like, bulls were like, okay, we're gonna get a new high now, 4,500 on Thursday. All of a sudden, we get a big drop. Someone in the chat mentioned, and it was like literally the summary of the week. They said, and it was Amit, it was you that said, and it was like perfectly summarized. And you said Thursday was the most obvious short, but it was the scariest one too. Absolutely. Like you go at 4,500, 4,505, it makes sense to like go look for a short because A, puts are cheaper. B, you know that the market can't go any higher with everything that's going on, but it's scary because you're clearly counter trading, and everyone on Thursday that tried shorting got wiped out. So it made perfect sense. That was a perfect summary. Let me grab our calendar for this week. So here, let's share that tab instead. Okay, so this is our calendar for this week. On Monday, we got not much going on. On Tuesday, we got Canadian CPI. I tend to keep an eye on this because last time we were expecting Canadian CPI not to go up, and it did, and it impacted the US market. So I'll keep an eye on that. And then on Wednesday, we've got our FOMC. I think Amit, to your comment, I think you should see big move tomorrow. The day after, the Monday after OPEX is one of the key days. So tomorrow should be massive. Tuesday, yeah, you're going to see getting chopped depending on how Monday goes. If let's say Monday is flat, then you're going to see a lot of volatility on Tuesday. But yeah, so we've got Mr. Powell speaking on Wednesday, and on Thursday, we've got GBP talking about official bank rate. And then let's see what we have on Friday. I know there's retail sales. No, never mind. It's PMI, flash PMI on Friday. So there's a lot going on this week. But for those who came a little bit later, this is, let me pull the daily chart back again. This is kind of the channel we're in. We either go above 44.82 for calls, or if we stay under, this is a short all the way till 44.33, unless we break 44.30, and then you go unlock another channel all the way to 4400. But we'll see. But this channel's getting dark. I've got a couple of really good trades that I'm watching. I'm gonna go over them. Spent the weekend preparing, because like last week was probably like better off for me to take just off, because the trade my edge wasn't there. That was clear. All right, so let's look at the first one that I really like. So I'm gonna go over AR, my play of the week, and then I'm going to go over first we do this, then we'll go over DKNG. So let me change this for people that are new. So this is the supply zone, okay? We're sitting right on the daily supply zone, and there's a trend line here that we've rejected multiple times. So once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 rejections on the trend line makes it very legitimate. You can wait for this trend line to break, or you can wait the 50 moving average to break on this 29.85. I'm sorry, I realize you can't see the chart. Let me do this again. So yeah, this is a trend line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 rejects here, 50 moving average on GKNG. Let's just mark it. And basically what we're looking for is, so make sure you guys realize there's a 10-second delay. So if you message me something, it's not going to come to me. But I realized pretty fast that you guys couldn't see it. So you could wait for 50 moving average, but I'm looking to go short on DKNG here. I think what's happened here is, if you guys look at it all throughout, like the volume started drying off here around after February, and it's not been great still. Let's see if DKNG gets more volume, but here's what I'm seeing. Let me clear the chart, and this is what I like doing. Let's clear everything. So this was the gap fill, okay? We filled the gap here. And after we filled the gap, we right away got a big rejection, and now it's been struggling to break this 3168 level. So my thought process is this: we're in September, short this for October 20th, look at 30 strike price, and this is a 50 MA, the second one. If we can get below this demand zone here, 29, you go all the way to 27 and likely 25.73 by October. This is how it usually works when it comes to drawdown in September. a lot of what we saw in August was a 3 week straight sell. And so September, we saw a lot of pump, and we're coming end of the September. Seasonality now is more bearish than ever. I was just waiting for one dread day where we see actual real sellers come in, not control selling. Friday wasn't control selling. Friday seemed like a bit of a panic selling. There's no buyers to be found because no one wanted to buy at that prices, which was clear. And no one wanted to hold it over FOMC, right? So for that reason, DKNG, in my opinion, makes a very good short. I wouldn't do weeklies. I would do longer term. So I really, really like this trade. If you guys have any questions about DKNG, let me know. But we're going to switch to AR after this. And I can go back and forth because I realize there's a bit of a delay, and we do this on Zoom usually. So I get it. So if you message it and I don't see it, I'll do it after. So I always say, like, look at the chart first and then start drawing stuff. So here's trend line here, declining. And you could be like, Mo, are you biased then? Because this looks pretty cool, but it looks kind of close to what DKNG is. The difference between AR and DKNG is basically flow. The flow on AR was bullish. 921K came for this. So that's what changed it. And that doesn't mean it doesn't fail. I've changed my stop loss, which you guys could clearly tell. I love this chart personally. We've supported, so this is going to be the second time it's touching. So I think we get a break here. Again, you could call me biased, but that's sort of what I'm looking for, a 50 MA touch and a break. If 50 MA breaks, I'm out. Like, the last time we broke 50 MA was in May. Since May, and I talked about the A plus setup, since May, this has been in an upward trend, and it has not once gone below 50 moving average, except this area. This is where May 31st, we went bullish on this. So I'm expecting this to break and get to 29. That's the trade for me. If you get a little bit nervous, I think fix your position size. That should help. I have a pretty much my full on core size on this AR. It's a full position for me. I've talked about why. I think I'm down about 12% on the trade. So that's not bad considering that everything just dropped straight on Friday. It was like a straight up panic selling. Relative strength, I think, was there for AR. Yeah, Karn. Everything I do is on Finviz, or if I start seeing flow, or if I start seeing like mention on Twitter about a certain ticker, but I don't take overcrowded trades. The next one is Palantir. I was just working on this right now. This one's a better trade, and the reason for that is DKNG is above 50 MA. So you're in a way trading counter trade because it's upward trend, right? This has not been able to break the 50 moving average. So so let's take a look at it, right? 16, what is it? 16, 15, right? Then you have a bear flag. Then you see IWM flirting with the 200 moving average. Small caps are doing really bad. So let's take the trend line out for a second so I can show you clearly what I'm talking about here. And Palantir, like, in my opinion, is like a cult stock. Like, people either love it and then they're just like, they're going to keep buying the dip, or they hate it and they think this is a garbage company. Like, most of our videos where we've talked like about Palantir not being profitable, we've got a lot of heat for it on our other podcast too. So it's one of those cult stocks. Same thing with Tesla, right? So here's what we have. We have this upward trend that keeps rejecting at this 1650. So the highest we've had is about 1635. So if we like short around anywhere from 1615, 1635, I would, what's the low of the demand? Let's go 1 hour on it. Let's see how this has been moving. So it's out the trend line on 1 hour, which is not good. The next demand, for people that don't know demand and supply, just consider this as a 1 hour support. 14.29. So 15 October 20 puts aren't going to be bad on this, and that's what I'll be watching. And if we so this would be A plus setup trade. I've taken flow out of the A plus setup trade because sometimes you don't get the flow, which is fine, but the trade still works. Like if you saw me trading 2020, 2021, never looked at the flow. I looked at the chart. If it failed, as long as the stock and the option trade are liquid, meaning it's actively traded, I'll trade it. But like if you found some random name that you've never heard of, but it showed up on the scanner but has no volume, like perfect example, we are in the trade called DM, and I took it for news. If you go look at DM, it says ask is 0, bid is 5, which means there's a very high likelihood that you won't get filled because there's literally no buyers. And if you do get it, it's not going to be for like a high price. It's going to be like bare minimum. Someone just trying to like buy it whatever price, hoping it's going to go up. But this is what we have for Palantir. It's broken the trend line here, right? Maybe we get a retest of this. This is a 50-day moving on hourly. Maybe we get a retest here, but Palantir looks very, very weak. I tried checking the flow for the last hour, and I do that on Fridays. On Fridays, I'll go and see what flow came in the last hour, and there wasn't really much. They bought massive calls on Meta for 2025, which like I don't really pay attention to. They put about 7 million in Meta. What they did buy was Apple puts for 2.5 million were 929. So that's key. Like that's something that we can look at because that's a pretty big amount for a very short time period. So I'll take a look at. So this is what I had for Apple, and I was talking about this um, on Friday too. I think unless someone 73.68 breaks, let's go. This is the hourly chart, by the way. I would look to short, which you guys already know if you know supply and demand, where I would look to short this. Hold on. Where did my rectangle go? Hold on. This is where I would look to short 175, this area. But if you guys don't know supply demand, this green line below anywhere around here, you could look at short, use this as a stop loss 176.50. But yeah, I think there's better trades than Apple unless you're trying to scalp or do weeklies on Apple. I think DKNG Palantir, personally, no financial advice, it's a lot safer to trade and you can buy time on it. That's sort of what I'm watching for. I want to also take a look at chips because chips usually guide the market. Like if chips start getting soft, you see the market follow. Like let me just show you my watch list from old times that I used to use, like everything on Friday. So Neo was the only thing green, Tesla was red, Blink was red. For my e-commerce sector, like pretty much all except eBay, everything was red. This was used to call this my retail side. JWN, BASPG, all red. This is our FANG. If you guys look at it, Meta, biggest drop, it's at 300, and that's where people buy it. I'm guessing that's why someone is betting that 300 holds. We can look at Meta next, but -3 drop. Apple, Google held. I could tell you why Apple held because Apple's dropped so much that there's buyers at that level. Amazon, big drop. Amazon's been very strong. If the 140 level holds, we should see a big pump. So that's, if you notice what I'm seeing here and what I'm trying to do is I'm not trying to short stocks that are strong. Like Amazon made a 52-week high. I'm not trying to short that because there's a chance that people can come and start buying Amazon, but I'm trying to short small caps, which is like Palantir, DKNG. That stuff is almost always weak and they're not really profitable companies. And we're in seasonality. So I'm picking relatively weak stocks and trying to short them rather than going with Amazon, which is 52-week high, and start counter trading. That's the scary one. Okay. And then we have SaaS companies, CRM, Snow, and TTD. That's kind of like all down, which we knew, right? Palantir, again, down 3%. PFE, again, I haven't touched this stock. Don't think I'm going to touch it again. Chips, we look at NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, everything's down. What interesting point is, without even looking at the chart, AMD is getting to the 100 level. They've bought this 100 level. I don't see how it breaks at the moment unless some sort of bad news comes. And if 100 breaks, we likely get 90 fast. 440 key level. So we need to see on Monday if chips can get a bounce. So let's go check AMD. Probably the easiest chart for new traders to trade, people with small accounts. Let's go daily. So I'm going to show you guys something first. I think we talked about this. Since June, right, it's been on a downtrend. It's that simple. Unless we break the downtrend, I don't know if this is. So 110 is your 50 moving average, which we barely got up. That one time we got called above 50, it probably stayed for 2 hours and it just dropped down. Now we are sitting at this level. Let's just do this level here, 100-ish. So let's go back in time. We broke this level in May, okay? When we broke in May for 100, it went from 100 all the way to 132 in roughly around, what's the time period? 1 month, okay? Then the second time I don't want to pick something that's close because it's 102, it's not really close. Second time it did on 24th August. Then 25th and 26th it took off. So it took 3 days to consolidate this. This is now the second time we're hitting it. If this breaks, if you guys see, there's nothing all the way till 95. Okay, so let's say it gets there. If 100 breaks 95, but if we do bounce, the bounce on 100 is usually very strong. Like we should see 105. So one can do that. But if 100, like if we see again another day of panic selling and this goes to 98, let's just say tomorrow we get another $4 drop on AMD. Let's say I'm not looking to buy calls in, then I would go for puts for 95 on a retest. So usually what would happen is, let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say we get to 102, then we go to 98. You're going to get a retest from 98 to the breakout place, which is 100. That's where I would take the short, a long short from. That's what I'm looking for this. Now let's look for so NVIDIA since August has been above their daily 50 moving average. It is now down below it. And if we look at it, I like to go so this is called price discovery. And what you do is you go back and see when it was for that price. So right away, here's one thing I see, that this is trying to fill the gap, right? It's 438, so 433. So if you guys notice, AMD is $2 away from a key level, and NVIDIA is about $6. So in terms of percent, it probably comes down the same thing, but this likely holds for us. 432, this should be, I need one at 450. If you guys have any chart requests, let me know. If you don't, then that's fine. But then I'm going to end the call right on time, which is in 5 minutes. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for us to, I'm not buying anything in the middle of the range. It needs to pop from here. If we get a gap up or a gap down on Monday, based on that, I'll have some keeping strategies open for both. Now, if we get, let me just tell you stats. Let me just ask you guys. You guys have done this for a while, show up to these meetings. What happens when we get a red Friday? What are the chances of Monday being? If we get a red Friday, what do we get on a Monday? Let's see who remembers. Meanwhile, I quickly look at AMD, not AMD. I want to look at Meta while we wait. So the question is, what happens when we get a red Friday? What are the chances of us getting on Monday? If no one can answer, I'll get. So gap down. There's an 80% chance on a red Friday, you get a red Monday. So here's Meta, okay? We haven't touched Meta in a long time, but let's take a look at it because the flow on this thing was, yeah, absolutely, Amit. Thank you, man. Okay, so 300 level, we get it. Let's do a price discovery. Last time, 12th of September, Meta is very strong. Look at this. Look at this channel. Unless we break this channel, you go shorting the stock, you are counter trading. Let me give you the flow once again. It's far out, and I know like we don't go over that, but let me just go with. So they bought 25 calls. So January 25, so we're about a year and a couple of months out for 1.5 million, another one for 1.5 million, another one for 3 million. So roughly $6 million in that. Let me see if anything came through smaller. Give me 1 second. No, nothing for small, but the big one's about 7 million. Someone bought at, so my 12, your time 3 p.m. EST. Someone bought Meta 300 puts for next week. So for the coming week for 387. Again, flow is all over the place. It was like that last week too. Apple is legit because Apple doesn't have calls that are huge, but they only has that one put. Meta has long calls and short put. Now, someone could potentially buy 7 million calls out and buy puts to just hedge. We can't do that because we're not playing that strategy at all, right? So ideally, you see two places where it can, two reasons for it to gap. A, 300 a key level. B, it's at the bottom of the channel. Let's tighten this up. There's been 2 times where it went below 274, but that was a little while back. If we look at on an hourly, let's take a look at hourly. Let's see if there is a demand zone here. There is a demand zone here. So there's multiple reasons. So I'll give you a trade idea here. It has to be tight. So pretend we open dead on where we should open. 297 would be my stop. This would be my entry, 300. And if it works, 303 would be my profit taking, my first profit taking. If we go bonkers like how Meta does, 310 would be my second. That's how you want to trade in this environment. I don't want to say necessarily tough market. We make it tough market when we try forcing trades. Like, idea for me is watch first 2 hours. If there's no trades, watch for the last hour or lunchtime. For day trading, for swing trading, the best time in my opinion is lunchtime and around 11 o'clock when we get a dip to go for swing trades. So I am looking to recap for people that are joining. We looked at a bunch of charts. I'm like DKNG Palantir for a short 1 month out. For calls, I like Meta calls. I like Amazon. Let's go through Amazon quickly too. Amazon, because they're at their key levels. AMD, I would look at 100 to go for calls. But let's quickly do it Amazon, and then I'm wrapping up. So let's just hold on for a second. Let me just show you the big picture first. So this is Amazon. Let's throw a support at 140. So to be completely honest with you guys, this is the first time it's going to retest 140. Okay. This is out of Meta and all of them. This is going to be the strongest because this is the first test of 140. If 140 break, you can exit, but let's throw the moving average. I think it's way above this 50-day moving average, but let's see. So yeah, this, like, you could see strength. So shorting this here, like, look at the, when was the last time we even broke 50 MA on it? It was like in March. So very, very strong chart. But if 140 breaks and you want to hold it somewhere, 135 would be, I would buy calls because we haven't been able to break that. There's like demand, there's multiple things happening. So very, very clean charts, no counter trading, and only trade maybe 1 or 2 trade max for me every single day. FOMC, look, I don't know if they're going to increase rates by the way things are. things are pretty terrible. I don't know. Let me give you a stat, and I'm done after that. So in August, and this is a massive stat. Like this blew my mind. Um, I don't think it's Zillow. It's the REDF where they do selling houses and selling and buying and selling houses, and then there it's basically like Zillow where people post houses. 24.5% of deals fell through in August. That the last time this happened was in 2008. So this is people paying the deposit to buy the house and the financing didn't go through or they didn't have the money, rates went up for whatever reason. 24.5% deals were withdrawn. This number is from 2008. That last time that number hit was 2008. Pretty bad. So if the rates don't go up, that could cause a relief, but it also depends on what Mr. Powell says. If Powell says we're not going to increase the rates because it's very terrible and we are going to continue, like it depends on the language he uses, but that's the only way I think we get a little bit relief. But if that for that day, otherwise the market isn't looking good. Like I was watching for a day like this and it happened on Friday. We should get a continuation now, in my opinion, at least to going back, and then I'm gonna say my goodbyes. This level 4433, and then if 4430 breaks, we should get 4400 by Friday, in my opinion. I think we're going for 4400 for Friday, in my opinion. With that, I'm out. It's a live stream, so it's going to be live on YouTube. And yeah, that's it for me, guys. Have a great weekend, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow.